In this next video, I want to exclusively talk about the linkage folder in the parts database. This is probably the most interesting folder. Now, if we just enter the linkage folder, we have, ignore the old versions folder, I guess that's just leftovers, ignore that. We have the function links folder and all these files. Now all these files are just examples of links. So I'm going to open the 1.5 inch one up, and you can see that it is just a link with holes of 0.16. There's that number 0.16 again. That has a length of 1.5 inches. It has 5 holes, and you could use this for your robot. And if you wanted to edit this, you could. If you wanted to delete one of these holes, you could. It's patterned, so you'd have to go to the edit pattern, and if instead you wanted instead of 4 you only want 3, you could do that. And then using the stretch tool, you could bring this in. Yes. So you could bring this in, and now we have a smaller link. You could do the same thing to make it larger. Really straightforward. Clicking on the other link, it's just the same idea, except we have a DC motor shaft in one of the ends. So so you could use that one instead. So these are you're free to edit. The real interesting part comes in the function links, and these function links are links that are defined with functions or different parameters. So let's open the number of holes and separation distance folder. Inside of that, you'll see oval and rectangular. The only difference between oval and rectangular is ovals are linkages that have rounded edges, and rectangulars have really sharp corners. We probably want oval, so let's go in here. And let's just open up the single row. I know it's probably a little confusing at this point, but let's just keep digging, and I think you'll see what we're getting at. This was in the number of holes and separation distance folder, which means that this link length is defined by the number of holes that we have in the link and the separation distance between those holes. And as you can see, the dimension 3 inches is actually a function of that. It's given fx. So let's show you what I mean. We have a pattern here. Let's right click, edit pattern. If you were to change the holes to be 10 holes instead of the current 6, and for those to be 0.75 inches apart, you would see that's the pattern that we have. If we click OK, you can see our link extends to make that pattern. You could edit the pattern again and make it small, only 2 units, and you can make the separation distance 0.375, and you can see the link shrinks. If it ever does not shrink for you, just go on the Manage tab, click Update, and it should do that. Sometimes you just need to update the drawing. Okay? Manage, Update. This thickness also functions, so you'll see if I change this dimension to 0.5, this distance becomes 1. So this width is double the dimension from the middle of the circle to the edge, meaning that the circle always stays centered. So the same thing we could do with multiple rows of links. This is just a pattern in multiple directions. So if we edit the pattern, and horizontally, if we only wanted 8 circles at a separation distance of 0.25, we could do that. But maybe vertically we wanted 5 rows, and we liked and we changed the separation distance to 0.5. Well, now we have this new grid, and it's constructed the link for you. And you can see these are the rounded edges. That's why they were the oval folder. So you do the same thing. You'll find the same exact thing in the rectangular folder. So that's number of holes and separation distance. Linkage length is, you also have oval and rectangular, same exact thing. Let's go rectangular this time. Let's open up single row. This time, the link is defined not by the number of holes in their separation distance, but by this number, which is the length of the actual link. So if I click on this and change it to 10, and go to manage, and then update, because it didn't change for me, now you'll see it's created those holes for us. If we bring it to 2, and click update, it's made those holes for us. So you can change that. And if you can see, it continues to make holes at a distance, separation distance of 1 inch. So if you wanted to change that, you could just, let's click on something else to get rid of that. Edit pattern. You could change that by doing 0.5. But you can see in this dialog box that really it's the separation distance that you're plugging in. This distance is a function. So the number of holes you're making is a function. What is it a function of? The length of the link. The length of the link and the separation distance. And you can see it's updated for us. Again, the same thing holds true for multiple rows. I could edit this to be 3 inches and edit this to be 2 inches if I wanted. Go to manage, update, and click off of it onto something else, and you'll see we have a new linkage. And maybe you want to connect a screw here and another screw there or something like that. And if you wanted to switch one of these out with a DC motor hole, well, you can't delete it because you'd have to delete the whole pattern. But what you could do is just make it a construction line. This way the laser cutter won't recognize it, and you could put a DC motor shaft there if you wanted the DC motor shaft to spin this whole thing. And now the laser cutter won't recognize it, and we can go into a different file, go into the sketch, grab the DC motor shaft from that sketch, go back into our linkage file, paste it, move, and now you'll see we put that there, and we could spin this entire linkage if we wanted with the DC motor right in the close to the center there. So we could do some pretty cool things. Play around with it. Hopefully it's clear. One more video left.